Hi students, welcome to this session. If you do not recognize me, I am Father Victor Fernandez and this is my pandemic appearance. This year 55 of you have registered for class 11 humanities section. Welcome to all of you. First of all, I would like to ask you a question. Why have you joined humanities section? Is it because that you did not have enough marks? Or is it because that you did not want to work hard and thought that arts is easy? But for some of you, you must have loved arts and that's why you have chosen. And that's what it should be. My dear boys, we are living in an unprecedented times. During this lockdown, you must have experienced a kind of life that is strange. We are separated from our own people. We can't have the fun that we were having previously. All normal life is disrupted. Economy is disrupted. People may not be in our vicinity, but far away, they are dying in many numbers. Very soon, I'm sure there will be a solution. Scientists are working hard and they will find out a solution by way of vaccines and therapy, medicines. And then we will forget all these things. But though our memories are short, something will be at the back of our mind. And come another 10, 15, 20 years, you'll be telling your children, thereafter you'll be telling your grandchildren, hopefully, about the things of the past, about these times. This is history. History is an account of the past. And basically, an account that is written. Every civilization, every generation has left something for us to study about, to know about. The great civilizations of Mesopotamia, that is Syria or Babylonia, or Egyptian civilization, Indus Valley civilization, all these civilizations have left something for us to study about. But all the civilizations may not have left something that is written very distinctly. It is from the Greek civilization we have an account of written history. The Greek historian Herodotus, we call him as the father of history. Please do not worry. Whatever I have covered, I have put in a PDF file and that will be available to you from our website in an introduction section. The term history comes from the Greek called as Historia, Istoria, which means an inquiry. And very many languages have got different terms. And history is all these terms put together. It includes an inquiry, an account of the events. It is concerning dates, concerning some of the legends, biographies, and various characters. But history has also got to be corroborative. It is not only an account that is written, because stories also can be written. While we say it is corroborative, it should be corroborative, meaning it should be we should be able to prove these accounts that are written. So, what is history? History is nothing but a record of the past. But it is not a dead account of the past. It is an account that is living. While we study about the past, we try to analyze, criticize our present, and find out solution for our future. Studying history, we do not live in the past. We try to study the past and learn lessons for our present and our future. Why study about the past? Past humbles us in knowing our roots, in knowing the contribution of our ancestors, and also it gives us a sense of nationalism and patriotism. What are the uses of studying the past? Without the study of the history, our life will be boring. It won't be that interesting at all. It is just like music, art, religion, which makes our life interesting. The stories and accounts of the past interests our lives, adds flavor to our lives. These past historical experiences also gives us an intellectual as well as moral meaning to our future. With the understanding of our history, we can live our lives better. And there are various uses of studying history, and therefore, uh, I would invite you to go through the account that is already there in the document that will be available to you. Also, please go through the aims in ISC syllabus of studying history. My dear boys, you see, history has two essential elements. They are time and space. These two elements tell us that history is filled with certainty. When we talk about time, the account that we are studying has happened somewhere, sometime specifically during the course of history. And space also enlightens us, tells us that it has happened somewhere in the world. So, space and time and space especially, they add certainty that it has happened somewhere at some time. How is history written? History can be transmitted orally by way of stories. But oral history has got very limited shelf life and it is prone to errors. But the written history lasts for a long time. It can be passed on for a long time. And it can be corrected if there are any errors. So, when history is written, there are certain things that has to be kept in mind. They say that history is what historian interprets. Historian is a human person. He has his own background, his own bias, his own mindset. When history is written, it is required of a historian that he should be of open-minded. He should be impartial. He should be without bias and prejudice. The history that we are studying over here in the school is basically political history. It might have some flavor of social or economical history, but basically it is political history. But history is of also various types. We have constitutional history, we have legal history, we have diplomatic history, economic history, intellectual history, military history, social history, and so many other types of histories. History, while it is being written, while we construct an account of history, we take into account very many sources. We simply don't sit down and write about what has happened in the past. We have to have proofs. We said earlier that it has to be corroborated. It has to be proved. We have to have evidence. And what are the sources for us to construct this history? Where do we find these evidences? We find it mainly in ruins. If anyone wants to construct the history of the lectures, he will find the ruins in Damsangadi or very many other places. Besides ruins, we have monuments. We have also coins, pictures like cave art and so on. We have antiques. In modern day, we have photos. And when we compare the photos of yesteryears and today's, it itself tells us something of human progress. We have stories, we have songs, we have dramas, we have documents, the diaries, the travelogues, we have publications, we have various chronicles, personal records of very many people, and films. Today we can also conduct interviews with the people, dress, festivals, food habits. All these help us in constructing an account of history. But basically, we have to make sure that an account of history has to be authentic. There are some patterns that we find in history, or what we call as trends, a particular type of trends, certain things happening again and again and again. They say history is made by the victors. Very many times, history, an account of it, is what we have from the point of those who are winners, those who have succeeded. Losers hardly will write an account of history. And therefore, one has to sift through, one has to find out what is authentic. The second trend is history repeats itself. Does history repeat itself? We find certain things being repeated, like patterns being repeated. But history is always new. Certain things, certain patterns being repeated, we call it as history repeating itself. There is a trend of dividing and rule, dividing and ruling. This is also a policy that is there prevalent in history. We see this trend being repeated again and again. History also has a curvy trajectory. If you haven't noticed the world history, if you glance all the histories, you will find that there is progress, and after progress, there comes a decadence. And again, there is progress, again, decadence. And this curvy trajectory always repeats. Ultimately, history is a study that has to be done with open mind. We as people have to be open to all the cultures without prejudice, and we should be open to all eventualities without reserve, open to all the possibilities. And the study of history helps us in being ready, being open to all these possibilities. I also want to draw your attention to the civilization. There are very many civilizations in the past, but there are great and significant civilizations we can study about. What is a civilization? Civilization means a highly developed social structure enriched by cultural, economic, and creative factors. It includes many things like how different sections in the society are formed, how they interact, how they have developed, how they govern themselves. My dear boys, we have, as humanity, have progressed leaps and bounds from a hunter-gatherer situation. We have come to an age which we call it as a digital age. I'm talking to you, I'm addressing to you through this digital age. In a hunter-gatherer state, this wouldn't have been possible. We have progressed, and various civilizations have contributed to the times that we have come to. There are very many civilizations. Please go through the document. Like Mesopotamian civilization, which took place in the year around 3500 BC. Mesopotamia is a region, geographical region between two rivers of Tigris and Euphrates in present-day Iraq, Iran, Syria. And after Mesopotamian civilization came Egyptian civilization around 3100 BC. And after that we have Indus Valley civilization, which was also a very advanced one in around 2500 BC. And after that we came Minoan civilization, which is an European civilization combining Greek as well as Roman civilizations. On the other continent of Americas, we have Mesoamerican civilization, which took place from 1200 BC onwards. But before that, we have a Chinese civilization also, which took place in 1500 BC. History has changed over the years, and we call it as milestones in history. Certain personalities, certain events, certain empires, certain ideologies, revolutions, certain dynasties, certain wars have changed the course of history. change the way people thought in a particular place. For us in India, the Great Uprising of 1857 is one of the milestones because that's where a sense of nationalism started. Before that, in 1857, the Battle of Plassey is another milestone where we experienced another type of slavery. We lost our independence, and slowly we lost not only our social political independence, we lost also economic independence. The year 1905, the partition of Bengal. In modern times, for our study of the freedom struggle is one of the milestones. And after that, the independence itself in 1947 is another milestone whereby we not only became independent, we started governing ourselves. We became not only politically free, mentally, economically, socially, we could make great progress. It was an opportunity for us. So there are very many milestones. There is a list that I have posted which may not be exhaustive. Please go through it, and with all this you will have an idea of what history is about, and therefore please go through it. Next session onwards we will start going through the first chapter. I will give you a short introduction by way of video, and after that I will post documents that are necessary by PDF files. And also, if you do not have, I believe most of you do not have the textbooks, do not worry about it. We will upload the scans. Those will be available only in our website. Because of certain regulations, we may not be able to post it in any other way. So make sure that you go through it, and wish you all the best.